with entrepreneurship, you will quickly figure out that it is tough.
Yeah.
And money does not come as quickly as you want it to be. And there's going to be some months that you might actually lose money.
Yeah.
So, like, you have to be open to the roller coaster. Like, business is a roller coaster unless you work at a job that you sit at a desk from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And that sounds, for myself, sounds miserable. But I know people who buy into that culture. But I think a lot of people who are listening to this podcast don't want to do that.
No.
They want to find their own way. And the best way to do that is just shoot your shots at everything.
Purpose in the Youth. Purpose in the Youth podcast. Welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast with your favorite bearded man, the one, the only Bobbbaaaay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast with your favorite bearded man, the one, the only Bobbbaaaay. Today, back in the studio, Justin Escalona. How we doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me here. This is going to be interesting.
This is going to be epic because the fact that I got you on at episode 20, bro. I just had 100 this week, and to think back who I was at 20, man, I didn't know what I was doing. We did that at Noah and Joey's crib. Huey Mack, if people don't know who Joey is. We did it in Joey's bedroom. I think Joey was on tour. So shout out to Joey. I don't even know if you knew I did that in your room.
You literally pulled up with like 2 microphones and a laptop, and we're like, yo, let's just do this podcast. I'm like,
all right, let's do it.
Okay.
We literally just popped up shop, and I wasn't even doing visuals at the time. That's why when I think back to who I was and the interviewer I was, it's like, oh my God. And I mean, you've evolved too in that 2 years too.
Bro, in that 2 years, I wasn't doing any type of like public speaking, any of that stuff. It was just like my camera, like me and my camera and my friends.
Yeah.
So like I didn't really have any experience with like press.
Yeah.
So then after, I guess in this past 2 years, I think I can speak a little better now.
Yeah. This ain't your first rodeo. You know, you've built some incredible relationships. You've done things that I think kids would dream about doing.
Right.
Traveled all over the place. Do you think, and you still have so much to go, let's just say that, is it luck, or what do you think has been the formula to getting you to where you are today?
Well, I don't know if your podcast knows who I am or anything, but yes, I think a lot of it has to do with.
There'll be a formal intro when they get to this part of the podcast.
Okay.
I don't do some crazy intro because I'm gonna end up doing another intro in the post production, so they'll know the whole spiel of who Justin Escalona is. So they know who Justin Escalona is by now.
Well, I think there is luck, obviously, with anything you do in entertainment. Like, you can be the most skilled person, but if you don't meet the right person at the right time, you're not going to get the opportunity to do that one big thing.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's been a lot of hard work. I've used to vlog every single day for over like 600 days straight, 10-minute videos each. For like 600 days. And then if you work hard enough like that every single day, you're bound to have something happen. Like if something doesn't come from it, that sucks.
What percentage of those days do you think you were like, I don't want to do this. I'm done doing this?
When I was starting off, bro, there were so many nights where I'd be like busy all day.
Yeah.
Like I would have class from like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any time to film during that day. So I had to get out at 10 p.m., start filming my vlog, and the video needs to be 10 minutes long, and it has to be entertaining. And I have to go edit it when I get home. And it goes up every morning at 6 in the morning. And there were some days I was like, I really don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But I thought in the long run, if I show dedication to this, people will show dedication to me.
Yeah.
So
you kind of need the long play that as long as you stay consistent with it, it's probably going to take you somewhere.
Yeah, and like I don't want to disappoint people who watch me every day. People like look forward to watching the videos every morning.
Yeah.
And if you wake up and you like on the bus ride to school, and you pull up my channel and there's no vlog, it's like where is this kid?
Where are you at, Justin? I'm pulling up on you.
Yeah, it's like that's not the vibe. I don't want people to like if I'm gonna watch like a new episode on TV and come 7 p.m. and it's not up.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, because you're there. You're dedicated to it. It's like you bought into this relationship, and if they're not delivering, you're going to judge them on that.
Absolutely.
Let's take it back. Before we even get into the content, before we even get into USC and kind of who you are today, all the way back to Arlington Heights, Illinois.
Wow.
What's that place like growing up for you?
So I was born in Arlington Heights, and I moved to this town. Well, I guess I was born in Arlington Heights at the hospital, but I'm from this town called Palatine, right next door.
Okay.
Dude, I love that city. Like it's nothing. It's really nothing. But for some reason, it's the best. Like it's a hotbed town for social media people. I do not know why. Like so many kids from my high school and the rival high schools, all moved out to LA, and they're all like,
what?
10 times more popular than me.
Really?
It's so bizarre.
Why is that?
I have no idea. It must be something in the water.
Yeah.
Like I actually read this one Malcolm Gladwell book about like hotbeds.
Yeah.
And I really think my town was a hotbed for social media kids.
He was onto something because he also talked about the months you're born. I think he gets into detail about if you're born in January, then you're most likely to be a hockey player or certain things.
It's the same book.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, why is this happening? Like, there's like 4 kids from my high school who are popular YouTubers. And then there's...
Who are they? Can you say their names? Or you don't...
This girl named Paulina. She has... And she's like a makeup girl. But this kid named David Dobrik grew up in the town 5 minutes away from me.
No way. David Dobrik grew up in the same town?
We're high school friends.
Oh, my God.
And
wow.
So, like, all these kids are all from my hometown.
Yeah.
I went to high school with this kid named Hudson Lutheringhausen. His sister is Lauren Elizabeth, and she's like this huge... fashion girl now.
Yeah.
It's so strange. We all like used to hang out in high school.
That's so interesting.
But
now
you
guys are all literally running. I just, the Dave one jumped at me because I see you making content and running around with him all in the streets of LA. And I'm thinking, oh, he must have just met out here. They, collaborated.
No,
that's now you're telling me that you guys grew up together.
We grew up together.
That makes the story even more crazier to me.
So like, that's like, it's just a weird, I've never heard of like a suburban town of having just like an influx of kids.
Yeah.
Like I get like if you grew up in LA, like I get it.
You're around it all the time.
You're in entertainment, but like in my town, there's nothing to do. Like there's a cul-de-sac. Like, we all live in cul-de-sacs. We have like a Target we can hang out at. Yeah. We go to the mall.
Yeah.
That's it.
Talk to me about your like family. Was it brothers, sisters,
parents? I have a sister. She's a senior in high school right now.
Okay. So she's what, 3 years younger than you? Because you're junior. Are you junior right now?
Senior now.
Senior. Oh man, brother. We'll get into that. So younger sister, 2 parents. What did the parents do growing up?
My dad is a creative guy as well, but he has his own real estate firm. So, but he got me into photography and videography because he always had like the best equipment around at the house. It was always so tight. I was able to like have the best cameras were always available because he would like to take photos of us playing sports. So I used to play hockey and I used to play like baseball. So you need a high action camera for that, and it has to be like really good. Yeah. So I'd be like, hey, can I borrow the camera for the day? And he's like, yeah, sure. But even though he does like a very like traditional type of job, he has always been into the arts. Yeah, and it was there for you to reach and grab. Yeah, and you could just play around with it. Yeah, and my dad has always told me, he's like, I wish I just, like, he does really well for himself, but he's always wanted to do arts when he was younger, and that's why I feel like he always supported it, because he wanted to do it himself. He almost wanted to live it through you, that if he didn't get the chance to do it, he wanted to see you kind of live through it. Yeah, so like he didn't have the opportunity, so he's been helping me. I think he's just living through me. That's not bad. Yeah, so it's sick. You played, on top of that, you played hockey, golf, diving, and gymnastics as well? Yes. What was your favorite sport of them four? I love hockey, man. Hockey is the hockey, best. Bro? You were screwing people up on the ice or what? Don't even get me started, bro. I can't hit because obviously I'm small. You can use that to your advantage. You could kind of get low and take out the legs. You take out legs, but when I used to play hockey, I was a big stick handling guy. Like I could do like the craziest tricks. And it's crazy because I grew up in like the Midwest and I played single A hockey, so it was pretty competitive. Yeah. And I come out here to LA and there's like hockey groups here. I have all my equipment with me and I love to play. And it's so funny. These kids that grew up in Huntington Beach are playing against me. And I'm like, yo, what type of hockey is in Huntington Beach? Nothing. And we'll play like every Friday night, right? Where do you guys play? Where's the local rink? I play in Pasadena. Oh, okay. And there's one in right around where you live. Oh, okay. The Burbank has a crew there as well. But we'll play all the time. And these kids are wearing visors. They have the best sticks, and they're putting on Canadian accents. I was like, yo, come on, chill, chill, right? Like back in high school, I was like decent. I would say like I'm play varsity. Yeah.
The grin. I wish you guys could have seen the grin on his face. He's like, yeah, I played varsity.
Yeah, so I played a pretty high level hockey, but I wasn't the best on the team. I was like second line, like it's chill, second, third line. Sometimes even fourth if if need be.
Yeah, if need be.
But so I would score like a decent amount.
Yeah.
I come out here to LA, I don't even have to try. These kids are so bad.
Yeah.
And like it's just a huge perspective thing. And like I've also had that perspective happen to me when I was playing in high school because we go to tournaments against some Canadian teams and they'd run us up like 20-0.
See, they're just naturally born, those Canadians, huh?
Yeah, and then like the fact that I can come here to LA and just run up these kids.
You feel good.
It's like, what if these Canadians came here?
They would kill. They'd be like
crazy.
People would be just like giving up before the first.
All I had to say is you can't be playing serious hockey if you grew up in Manhattan Beach.
No, not at all. Did you think at all? Like, was there a point where you wanted to pursue that professionally, or was it just kind of you just enjoyed it and knew that it was going to come to an end?
I was gonna play college hockey.
Okay.
But I knew I wasn't good enough to be in the show, so like it was kind of I have to pick what I'm really good at. Yeah. So that's why art kind of seeped in.
So you were kind of were you balancing a little bit of both hockey and a little bit of the film?
Yeah, hockey was like a huge thing in my life. I grew up playing hockey. In high school, we had practice every single day. Like it was nuts, and would always be traveling. And it was like, how can I manage to do both? And I was able to do both. I don't know how.
You probably weren't sleeping.
Yeah,
because hockey's that's a big committed sport. Traveling on the weekends all the time.
Every weekend.
Not cheap. I know people are spending lots of money just to get around and rink time.
It was a crazy life, but I really miss it sometimes because I'm like, wow, once you graduate high school, you really forget about all those high school sports.
Yeah,
and it's like you can play like beer leagues, but that's not the same.
It's not the same. The thing is, we all in high school we just want to rush. We want to get to college, and then we get to college, and it's a lot of fun. We have all this freedom, but high school there's just so much more opportunities because you have all these sports that you can play. You can join these clubs. You don't have any bills. I mean,
you literally have zero bills.
Literally zero bills.
Like maybe your mom makes you pay for your phone.
Yeah,
but like that's really
$100 in your pocket and you feel like a millionaire. You could buy anything that you need.
Like I remember kids would be stressing out like, oh, I have to pay for my own phone bill. It's like. Now that I'm thinking, I remember back in the day, I'm like, damn, bro, that sucks.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking back on it, it's like, you were really only paying $40 a month.
I know. Now you're thinking it's like, damn, I paid $40 for this. I got to pay $40 for that.
Paid $40 for lunch today.
Yeah.
Like, what?
That sushi life, the LA sushi life.
Yeah, man, I love sushi.
Going back, talk to me about OPG. That was early on. There were 6 of you guys.
God.
Our Pizza Gang YouTube channel. You guys had hit 240,000 subscribers within I think 8 months. But that was also the time when you guys kind of separated and wanted to start your own ventures.
Yeah.
What was the reason for the split? Because you're seeing so much success, but that you guys all kind of decided we got to go separate ways.
I haven't even thought about OPG in years. That was a high school thing. And I'm really happy OPG happened. But if you guys look up Our Pizza Gang, the name is already self-explanatory enough as why I think it's time to go. Yeah. But the videos just weren't what I wanted to do in my life. And a lot of the guys also felt the same way. Hudson, he's a painter now. He's an artist. He sells his paintings for thousands of dollars. And then
so he took a good turn then. He took definitely a good turn.
Jake Fushi, he was a big guy. Like he's a big voice actor. He was on Ellen and stuff like that.
Wow.
Like Good Morning America. Weekly Chris is a pop-in YouTuber now. Yeah. And we just all had to find our own lanes because I was doing that. I was doing sit-down videos, doing the Chubby Bunny Challenge. That's stuff. How many marshmallows can you put in your mouth?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
That's not our vibe.
Yeah.
But it was a really cool experience doing that. It was my first touch of social media popularity.
Yeah.
But I will say that coming from OPG was a very good launch point for my own career.
I was going to say, I even went back and I was watching some of the early videos that you had uploaded, and although you were still so young in the game, you could tell that there was potential. You were very confident looking directly in the camera. You had that kind of sarcastic little jig to you. I was like, man, this really was, and who you are today was so much in those early stages. And I was like, man, it's crazy because this was, I think 2013, I was looking at some of these uploads, and you're talking, 5 years later, and here you are today, and that's a completely different Justin, but still at the heart, I felt like I was listening to the same exact person.
Hell yeah, man. Back in the day, it sounds so like cliche to say, but like every single day, come back from school, come back from hockey practice, me and my buddy Nick Kowalski and I would go to my room, just think of ideas every single day, whether it be videos, businesses. We had to make some money somehow. Yeah. And it was just, that's our, not even the money, it was just like, we just want to be successful. Yeah. And so we just put our all into this shit.
What was it about successful? Like, were you guys, did you think you wanted to be entrepreneurs or?
We wanted to be entrepreneurs. Yeah. I always thought videos were fun. I always thought YouTube was interesting. But back in the day, YouTube did not have AdSense. There was no getting paid off of your views. Yeah. It was the whole draw was just get some views. Yeah. Like, get a lot of views, become popular, get subscribers. Yeah. And there was no market for branding and all that stuff. Like that's relatively new in the past like 3 years. But it was just so cool to like have like a gratification that like my passion for making YouTube videos, it will be rewarded by other people watching it. And that was enough for me. Yeah. But at the same time, Nick and I were like huge entrepreneur-minded kids where we really wanted to find a way to make money off of the internet because we thought that was like the new wave. Yeah. And now it is.
Now it definitely is. Now that's the dream of everybody, right? Like people want to create something and make a lot of money doing it. But even like we were talking about before the podcast, and we were just saying, you were doing it because you guys were having fun. It wasn't like we're gonna upload and then I'm gonna make a lot of money someday. It was
there was no money in YouTube.
Yeah.
Like if you were making money off YouTube, you were making $100 a month. Yeah. And that's like if you're lucky.
Yeah. How did you end up picking USC?
Well, so back in high school, there was like a big time. You guys remember this if you guys are listening. Like at the end of senior year, like everyone starts wearing like college shirts. Yeah. They're all wearing the merch.
They feel so good. They feel so good. Like the t-shirt they got me on.
Right. They're wearing like their Bobbbaaaay t-shirt, their Illinois State, ASU shirt. And I applied because I thought like my talents were good enough to make it to film school. I wanted to enhance my knowledge of film. Yeah. I applied to so many colleges. I applied to like NYU, I applied to UCLA, Chapman, LMU, pretty much any film school possible.
And these are top schools for film.
Top and not. Yeah. Like anything, the whole spectrum. Yeah. I just wanted to go to film school. Mm-hmm. And I got rejected by every single one. But the thing is with USC, I remember it was March, it was my spring break. And if you're thinking about spring break of your senior year, everyone has gotten accepted to their college.
Yeah, they know exactly where they're going.
I was that one kid who didn't get accepted yet. Huh. And I was like, this sucks. Like, I might be going to community college. Maybe this whole film dream is done. Wow. And I was on a vacation with my family. We were in Vail, Colorado, and we just got finished skiing for the day. And we went to some random like diner bar vibe, like a very American food. And I remember my dad got a call from my grandma who was house sitting my house in Palatine. Yeah. And she goes, "Hey, this really thick envelope just came in the house. You want me to open it?" And my dad's like, "Who is it from?" And he's like, "US," and she's like, "USC." Oh. And I was like, "No way." And she's like, "Should I open it?" And he's like, "Yes, open it." Open it, and it just says, "Congratulations."
Oh my God.
And the whole family just jumps up. We're like screaming, like we're like crying. I'm crying.
I bet.
And I'm like, holy shit! I got declined from every single film school except for the best one. Wow. And I was like, this is a Hollywood ass moment. Wow.
And the fact that you remembered to where you guys were, that just shows
you
I'll
never forget that because that was one of the coolest feelings that like maybe I am good at film. Yeah. Like no one else wanted me. Like how is that even possible? How did these like random ass film schools think I wasn't even good enough? But the best one thinks I'm good enough.
Still wanted you. What was it? Do you think in your application process was it SAT scores? Was it the resume being involved?
I came to the realization that just from being at USC for so long was they don't care about the grades. They care about how good you are. Huh. And a lot of these film schools, I think it's really broken, is they'll look, instead of looking at your portfolio first, they look at what your ACT was. They'll look at what your GPA was. And it's like, how does your GPA correlate to your creative abilities? And it really does not. And I think that's what's interesting, is a lot of kids I go to school with say the same thing. They got rejected from mad schools. Besides USC.
So they're just looking at strictly as what you can produce. Like, we know you can do well in the school classes, but what are you doing beforehand?
Yeah, because like film school is it's graded on your talent.
Yeah.
it's not graded on what you answered in the Scantron.
Yeah.
So like
we don't need to see that.
Yeah, like who cares how good you are at math?
Yeah.
So.
Now, were you always interested in getting to LA at some point? Because
no, that was the whole dream.
Yeah.
Was I want to go to LA.
Oh man.
I want to go to LA. I don't care what it's for. I remember like breaking down, crying to my parents senior year of high school. Like, I'm ready to just go.
Yeah.
Like I'll get a job. I'll go work at Earth Cafe. I don't care. I'll go be a waiter.
Yeah.
I'll be a busboy. Just let me move to LA.
Yeah.
And they were like, they had this big dream of me going to college, and I understand why. Like, it's a big accomplishment in your life. And now I'm only a few months away. Yeah. So thank God.
I don't know what it is about LA because I had the same thing. Like, do you remember how old you were when you first started having that itch to get out here?
I was probably like 16.
Yeah. Was it a movie? Was it a TV show? Was it a combination?
I always thought, because I'm a huge fan of movies. Every single day, I have this thing where I have to watch a movie every night in order to stimulate my brain with new creative things.
Okay.
And growing up in like I'm in the middle of nowhere, like a suburb in the middle of nowhere.
It's like north of Chicago?
North of Chicago. You have to take a train. It takes 45 minutes to get to the city. And like all I wanted to do was make movies. And I was like, in order to make movies, you have to be in Hollywood. And that's it. Like there was no other thing for me. Yeah. Like people would always say like, oh, there's like an emerging film scene in Chicago. I'm like, yeah. I grew up here my whole life.
There's nothing.
I don't see anything.
Not where it's happening. I'm seeing palm trees in all the movies that I'm watching. Like, I think it's LA.
I don't think Martin Scorsese's making his movie in Chicago.
No. Like, he might come out there to shoot a couple scenes, but
it's like his house is Hollywood 90210.
Yeah, that's where all the action is.
Yeah, so I had to come here.
So you get to USC. That's when the whole Daily Docs fires up, and that's really the only in the first podcast we did for episode 20. We just literally talked about Daily Docs, but you end up coming to USC. You start Daily Docs as a way to force yourself to create, to get into this rhythm of making a lot of content, which is literally the best way to learn. Just force yourself to create. What do you think has changed the most about you since the beginning of Daily Docs to now with season 4 being here?
So season 4 is much
game changer, different. Much different.
Thank you. Yeah, much different.
The season 1 guy was just shooting little dorm parties to Jets with Diplo and Lollapalooza. We'll get into the season 4, but yeah, it's a much different person.
It's a whole different vibe. Like back in season 1, I was making videos of just what it was like to be in a dorm.
Yeah.
And now I'm making videos taking like private jets. Yeah. Like it's a crazy world, change. Man. And I don't think I've really strayed away too much from who I really am.
Yeah.
I try to show the best version of myself on the internet, of course. Like people are like, Instagram's a highlight reel. Like, well, of course it's a highlight reel. I don't want to show someone when I'm like in the most average state. Like if you really think about it, like everything that you post on social media is entertainment.
Yes.
And you're not going to go on TV and watch a TV episode of some guy just doing nothing.
Yeah.
So of course it's gonna be a highlight reel, and I guess you have to buy into it at a point. But I found this good balance of like you see the real me, in addition to the entertainment side of me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna make a video boring. Like it has to be entertaining.
Yeah. And you also, when you first got here, you were such a younger person too. Obviously, all you're gonna do is shoot around in the dorm room parties.
I didn't know anyone.
You didn't know anyone. You were just this young buck, 18 years young, in LA, shooting all this stuff, running around with all these kids. And then obviously as time has gone and you've been here for 4 years, and as I kind of got into the beginning of the podcast, a lot of relationships have been built, a lot of things have happened. So then it sets you up to this point where you can do all these things. You can travel to New York for the weekend, San Fran, or go to a bunch of Quinn 92 shows. You know, you've been putting in this work, so of course you're going to get to the point where you're making these bigger level things. But is there a certain thing you can say that has changed the most? Confidence, or the way you interact with people, or
I guess confidence might be something, but I always felt confident in front of the camera. Like I don't know, like it just always came natural to me because it feels like I'm talking to a friend.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you look at the lens, it's not really much of like a camera to me. It's like, I'm just talking.
Yeah, like, it's just an object.
Like, I don't really care. Like, because I feel like a lot of my friends will tell me like, I talk so much, you probably should duct tape me. And it's like, I don't know, it's just natural. But over the course of the past few years of making videos every day, I think the biggest thing is I've understood what I need to film in order to tell the story. Because every day is a story, and every day needs to be entertaining somehow. And I've understood, because back when I was starting, I'll just film everything. And I would have to craft the story in the editing. And I'm like, oh, like, so this, and I'll have a lot of surplus clips, and it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's not as efficient.
Yeah.
But now I know exactly what I need.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I need to shoot and how to make it transition well.
Yeah.
And now it takes me an hour to edit my videos.
Hour long. That's it.
That's it.
I think when we first did the podcast, you said it was taking you 2 hours, so you're down to an hour. So when you shoot, you just know it's either gonna make it or it's not. With a little bit, obviously, here and there's gonna be certain things that don't make it.
I almost never shoot a clip that I don't need.
Yeah.
Because, at least in film school, I've learned this, is that when you're a director, you also need to know the mind of an editor. So when I'm shooting, I'm literally thinking, how will this be edited?
Yeah.
And so if you're thinking in that way, if you shoot a clip, you shoot this really funny scene at like my house, but I'm going to need a transition clip to go to like a party.
Yeah.
I need to make sure when I'm filming that day, I don't forget to film the clip that says we're going to a party. Because if I'm missing that clip and I go to edit it,
people are like, what happened?
It's not even what happened. Now I need to find a way to edit the transition. And that is way harder. And that'll take you like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Versus just doing it, filming the clip, and now you're good.
Do you ever find yourself getting anxious or overwhelmed with being in bigger environments or whatever, and you're like, damn, I gotta film this, or
no, dude,
not at all?
I don't give a single shit about any of that. Like, all it is about like, because I roll around with my friends everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Whether I have to fly them with me or anything like that, I try to have my friends with me, because if we have this dynamic where in my videos it's a cast rather than random people.
Yes.
It's the recurring cast in every single video. You know what you're gonna get, and we've gotten so good at knowing how to put on for the camera.
Yeah.
So I'll turn the camera on.
It's
Everyone
lights. Everyone lights up.
Everyone knows
know.
what to do.
Yeah.
And it's not hard. And like, we don't care about people judging us, giving us looks. Like, we'll be filming in like the Grove in West Hollywood, and there's mad people there.
There's a lot of tourists. There's a lot of people like, what is this kid doing?
Yeah, turn the camera on.
Yeah.
No one cares.
Yeah.
Like, if you're confident with what you do, people respect you. But you can tell when someone is not confident and they are in front of camera, it's very uncomfortable to watch. Yeah. And it's also extremely uncomfortable with people who are walking by you in public.
Like, hey, man, I'm here at the Grove.
Yeah, that's bad.
They're like shaking and they don't. You got to just go in as in, this is what I'm going to do. This is who I'm going to be. I'm going to be the next vlogger, and I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, and especially if you live in LA, this is expected.
I know.
So, like, no one cares.
I know. Moving from Boston a year ago, dude, nobody was in the streets of Boston shooting vlogs, going out meeting people at the bar. Nobody was content creating. They didn't even know what the word content was. And then I moved out here, and everybody out here.
And especially like in these tourists that are like around.
Yeah.
They expect this.
Yeah.
They expect this is what LA is like. So if you just believe in yourself, then you'll get respect.
Yeah. We talked about, obviously, all the things you've been doing. You also, I want to mention, you met Ninja, Benjamin Kicks in season 4. Could you see Daily Docs turning to something bigger? Like a Netflix series, a full-length film?
Speaking of that.
Am I walking the right path?
Yeah, you're walking the right path.
Okay.
So Daily Docs has been an interesting ride for me.
Yeah.
And I've gotten, the development of it is just like crazy.
Yeah.
But through building an audience, through making, I think we were talking about this in the first podcast we made about how if you can find leverage with social media popularity.
Yep, of course.
And I've gone to that point where I've kind of hit that, where I finally hit that moment where I have enough social media popularity where now I can really start working on what I want to do. So I've been filming a TV show, and it's very similar to my Daily Docs, but it's different at the same time.
And is it going to be under your YouTube channel? No.
It's going to a major network.
Does anybody know about this yet?
Sort of. I guess Purpose News got the exclusive.
Let's go! Clickbait.
Yeah.
That's fire, man.
Yeah. So it's called Full Circle, and it's about things I did back in like high school, growing up in Palatine in Chicago, and how it's affected my life today and come full circle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, at the end of the day, man, I think it's amazing because you're going to be able to go back and just look at all of this stuff, all these high moments of like your life getting to LA. I don't think, obviously it's gotten you to this point where now bigger opportunities like that are coming. But personally, I would imagine that's got to be pretty dope for the very handful vlogs that I've done where I surprised my sister for her birthday, or traveling to LA that time to come out and do the podcast with you and all these other guys. I look back and it's cool to see it, and it's got to be cool for you to be like, damn, that's where I started. Like, that's little Justin in the dorm room, just having a good time with his friends and shooting this shit.
It's so crazy, like, life, man.
Yeah. It moves quick.
Like, I've never had to work a real job because of this, which is insane.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, man. That's pretty amazing. Let's get into 1340 Collective. And also, we had round 24 drop today. Yeah. So I hope you guys already copped it by the time you see or hear this. If you didn't, you missed your chance. When you were starting 1340 Collective, that was back in 2016. Did you ever vision having a pop-up on Melrose?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Not at all. It kind of was just an idea of, let's just sell some T-shirts and see what happens.
1340 is the craziest story that I'll ever have in my entire life. I don't believe that anything more crazy will happen.
Why is that?
It's like going to be like something that goes down with me like forever.
Yeah.
So when I was a freshman in college, living in a dorm, there was this other kid in my dorm who would always be bragging about like his clothes he was making. He was screen printing on Gildan. I'm like, how is this even like what? Like, and
calm down.
And then everyone in my dorm would be like, oh my God, it's so sick. Like I'm like, what the? Like it's average. There's no way he sold more than 20 units.
Yeah.
And those 20 units he's selling are to like his neighbors. Like, that's not sick.
Yeah.
And it sparked like a flame in my ass to do something. So I started making. I was like, damn. I went into my dorm room, opened up Photoshop, and started designing, because I've always had like an interest in like Supreme, like Bobbbaaaay, like Diamond Supply. Like, that's like fresh out of LA. I didn't know about like real designers.
Yeah.
I only knew about like
Fairfax. Yeah, of course.
That's all I knew.
You have to say is Fairfax.
That's all I knew.
Yeah.
And like now it's much different, obviously. But back then, that's all I was inspired by. And I was like, damn, I think I can make better clothes. And I made this design. It's such a simple piece. It says 1340, and it's like 1340, 1340, 1340, 1340 stacked in kind of like a off-centered design, kind of diagonal. And I made it, and the school year ended, so it's the summer of freshman year, and I released it, and it blew up.
Blew up.
Yeah.
People were just going crazy.
People were going crazy.
And were you doing the access code from the beginning, the jump?
Yes, it's always been a thing.
How did you think of that? What inspired you to do that?
Because like I said, I was very inspired by Supreme. And Supreme does this thing where they drop a new shirt every Thursday. And once it's gone, it's gone. And I thought, well, I'm going to put my own little twist to that. So I release a shirt every 2 weeks, and not everybody can get it. And the only way to build exclusivity is by having a small group of people only being able to buy it. And in order to buy it, you need a code just to even unlock the website. And I was like, this might work. And it did. And how did people in the beginning, I know right now it's like you could DM you or tweet you or something like that. Has that always been the way of getting the code? Like, how does somebody it was like I'd put it on my YouTube channel. Like, at first it was more broad. Yeah. Like, whereas like, I just like
go to the right place and you'll find it.
Yeah, like I'd blast the code on my YouTube video. Yeah. And like, the code is this. And
middle of the video, it's like, watch the video and you'll get it.
Yeah, exactly. It was like that. But now it's more of a personal connection where like, in order to get it, you need to like hit me up personally, because e-commerce is interesting because you don't have the opportunity to see the customer in real life. Yeah. And I thought it was always strange to like just like buy a shirt and have no relationship at all with the person you're buying it from. So if you're buying the shirt, but you have to talk to me personally, it builds that type of connection. And it takes a long time to be able to send all these DMs. I have to sit at home all day sending these things out because I'm trying to have real conversations with my customers. And I think by doing that, it's built like a kind of a community of people who like really are into it. Well, it's a win-win because the person that wants a shirt is getting the code. Right. And they're getting to personally speak with you. But then also you're building out your brand and you're becoming that face and saying, hey,
yeah, I put out all these YouTube videos. Yeah, I want you guys to buy my merch, but I'm going to take the time to sit here and DM you because I actually give a shit.
Right.
And then you get that connection, and then you keep building. And then I'm sure you're starting to see repeat people coming back every single week and wanting to buy it.
Yeah.
What do you think has been the biggest entrepreneur lesson that you've learned from that part of doing like e-commerce, running a business? I know at one point there was that big blow up with a design or something.
Yeah, some controversy.
Yeah, we don't have to go into that, but what do you think has been the biggest lesson for you?
The biggest lesson is if you really like what you're doing, you'll find a way to make money off of it. Yeah. Because I never knew 1340 would be worth $1 million.
That's not a bad number. I'm gonna set someone thinking about that.
Like this is an idea I had in my dorm room as like an FU to some kid who lived in my dorm. Yeah. And I just kind of went with it as a joke. Yeah. And then I quickly realized that there's some serious potential here.
Because you had done that with the YouTube channel. You had built that following, and you had people that probably wanted to wear the merch because of who you were, but also the doc that they were kind of getting into. Right. Wow. That's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, it's been like, dude, who makes that when they're 19? Yeah. Like, I wasn't even old enough to drink yet. Yeah.
I know. That's the thing I've noticed in season 4. It's like, man, he can actually drink and not get like flagged on it. Because when I first was starting to come across your stuff, there was nothing like that. Because you were, 2 years ago, man, you were
like 19, 18, trying to like make these videos of us always just partying. Yeah. But like, but 1340 has been like, I hope if I ever like become like something very successful in my life,
you will. You gotta say yes. When I do, we're speaking things into existence on this podcast.
And I hope that like the biggest story out of it is like Justin made 1340 when he was 18. Yeah. And they turned into this. Yeah. So that's sick.
Yeah. We didn't get to go into it, but talk to me about the actual pop-up shop, because I don't want to skip that. That's pretty epic to have like a pop-up shop out in Melrose in LA. Right. Literally the weekend that I had flown home to go back to the East Coast for a wedding. But talk to me about how that event was, because the videos and the content of what I had seen of it looked like it was a blast. Right. How was the outcome for it?
So this summer I had the idea of turning my e-commerce business into something physical. And I was like, man, if I'm going to do it, I need to do it right. Yeah. So I had this, I planned it for like a month. I got a location on Melrose. If the viewers to this podcast do not know what Melrose is, it's like the hotbed for streetwear right now. Yeah. Like if you are into streetwear, you know what Melrose is. Mm-hmm. It's like Soho of New York. Yeah. And I got the spot. I had my clothes there. I invited a lot of my friends to come, and I thought like maybe like there's gonna be like a few kids that show up, like decent
handful.
And then next thing you know, the line is 2 blocks down, and I'm like, what is going on?
That's epic.
And it turned into like a huge party. People were like blasting Sheck West. Like it was tight. Oh my god!
And was it just for the day, or was it a
It was a one-day event, just easy and quick, and just I've never felt so happy. To see, like, because internet numbers are like one thing, like you can see stats, like like 100,000 people watched my video. That's cool, like, but it doesn't hit. Yeah,
comments cool. You see comments, you see the interactions.
But when like real people show up to your real event, it's like, oh my god,
these people actually came out of their way to be part of this
event.
event.
Like people were driving from like Arizona, like Toronto. I'm like, yo, what?
That's so epic.
Like this means this much to you, and it was just a humbling ass experience.
Do you see yourself doing that annually?
I
Different
really
cities?
want. Yes, so I had this idea of making like a semi tour where for like probably like a month long, like 4 stops, like do a pop up and start off in Melrose, then go to like Chicago, then go to like Miami, and then go to New York.
That'd be fine.
And like that's like what I want to do, but right now because I'm in school right now. Yeah. It's tough, but I still travel a lot right now.
Yeah. So it's doable. It's definitely doable. It's doable. But it's just going to be a lot more work now that you're back in school full time.
Yeah, and it's also tough to bring all my friends with me because my videos and like my whole crew rolls with
them, yeah.
And that's a lot of expenses. I need to pay for everybody to come. So like,
how does school work? Does a lot of your professors know all this stuff you're doing? Because if I'm a professor, I would hope, or if I'm you, I'm hoping that these professors understand that I'm clearly already have a business running. I'm clearly already making film and videos. Like, do they
Right.
understand that? Do they allow you to kind of use some of that as?
Some of my professors I'm close with, and they understand like, hey, like I'm not gonna be able to make it to class today.
Yeah.
I'm going to New York.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to New York. I have to go to a music video or some shit.
Yeah, and they're like, fine.
Yeah.
Fine. But some of them I don't want really them to know because I want like because I have to take gen eds as well, and I'm not gonna tell my stats teacher that I can't make it to class because I'm going to Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Like
They're not gonna let that.
They
slide.
don't care.
Yeah.
But film is a whole different game. That's a whole different beast. People think about it in like they actually they understand. Like they're working as well. They know what it's like to not be able to make it to a meeting, to class, whatever.
As long as you're delivering and you're actually getting the work done, they're not gonna yell at you and be like, "Yo, where's this at?"
Like if I turn in my homework, I turn in my projects, that's fine.
No harm, no foul.
Exactly.
You saw yourself on the Journeys wall, right? What is going through your head when you see that? Because growing up, I went to Journeys all the time. Like back to school would roll around. My mom would take me. We'd go to Journeys. We'd go to Finish Line, Foot Locker. But Journeys, I always would find myself back at. How does it feel to see yourself on the walls of Journeys?
That was probably the coolest thing
I
I have done in a while.
Dude, Journeys? What?
Like I never
thought. I think you're on the cover of the magazine too, right?
I was on the front page of the magazine.
No just on the front page of a magazine.
And I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So like probably I don't even remember how long it was. Probably like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
I was the face of Journeys. And
what does that even mean?
Just
like a month long, just in Escalona?
No, it was the whole
spring
collection.
Whole
spring season.
Wow.
I was the face of the spring season. And it was me and like a few other people. It was me, this girl named India Marie, this girl named shit, I forgot her name.
It's okay.
And this other kid named Ferone. He's a rapper, but it was us four, and we were the face of Journeys for a while. And I remember this one time. The reason why I actually, let's talk about this. The reason why I took this deal was because, not because of the money, not because I'm going to be on Journeys. It was truly because back at home, at Woodfield Mall, there was a Journeys. And I would walk by.
That's where you grew up?
Yeah. I would walk by it all the time. Yeah. I know my little sister and her friends go to the mall all the time. And if my face is on the wall there, that's a stunt.
Yeah, that's a stunt. That's my brother, guys. That's my brother.
Right, and has my name on it and everything.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is so badass. And I said, yes, we did it. And I remember the first time I saw it from my own eyes. My parents came to visit in LA, and I was dropping them off at the airport at LAX. And we had a little time to kill, so we dropped by the Culver City Mall, Westfield.
Westfield, it's right on the way to LAX.
Yeah, right next to the mall. Next to the airport, I mean.
Yeah.
And we're just buying. I'm like, hey mom, I need some new clothes. Like, you know, when parents come in town, it's always nice to get some.
Pull out the credit card. Pull out the plastic.
And we're walking, and there's a Journeys right there, and I look at it, and I go, I had to do like a triple take. And I was like, what? It's up.
Did you? Oh, so you knew it was gonna come. You just didn't know when.
I didn't know when it was going up.
Yeah.
And I saw myself just sitting there, like huge ass photo of me on the wall. I'm like.
That's
holy.
Me. That's me.
And I'm like, please, Pops, take a photo of this. I could not believe it. And then next thing you know, people are tweeting me all these photos of me. Like, I was in every single store.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
For your parents, that's got to be pretty rewarding to see their son on the walls of that. Especially for your father, if going back as a kid, he's kind of pushing on you, wanting to live it through you, and he sees you on the wall of Journeys. Like, that's got to be a moment of... Like,
that was one of the coolest things. I've never been on like a big campaign like that before, where it's like modeling. Like, I'm not tall. I'm only 5'8".
Yeah.
So like I've always had this pre-assumption that you have to be 6 foot, and obviously, I guess you don't.
You're making it work without it.
Yeah. So
you've also built brand relationships with Axe, Reebok. Yeah. Are these brands reaching out to you? Are you reaching out to them? How are these relationships being built?
So I created a management agency with my buddy.
Okay.
And we have been we help a lot of people get sponsorships.
Yeah.
Like more so like just our friends. Mm-hmm. Like say like I have like a friend who has a lot of subscribers and she's like not monetizing it correctly. I feel like I can help and make them some money. We take a small cut, like 20%.
Yeah, that's standard, right, for
15, 20% standard. And we just developed a lot of relationships with a lot of companies, and a lot of companies will reach out to us, and it's led to some crazy partnerships with some really known companies.
And are you trying to make sure that, because I feel like the brands that you have been dealing with, obviously like the Journeys, the Axe, the Reebok, they all do fit you. Right. Is that something that you kind of double check? 10 offers come in, you're making sure not only do I rock with this product, but it actually makes sense.
Well, it's more so like, say I get a really big offer. And this has not happened yet. I'm just speaking hypothetically.
Yeah.
Say I get a really big offer from a company I don't really like care for.
Yeah.
You have to kind of realize to yourself, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, you got bills to pay.
Like, say like some like teeth whitening company came to me, we'll pay you like $30,000.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm
not gonna say no.
30,000, sign me up.
But I haven't had an instance like that. Like everything I do right now is like with companies I really like care about. Like Axe is tight. Like,
yeah, that's a great relationship.
Yeah. Then I had I just did this deal with Reebok, and that's tight. I have this deal with Converse coming out, and that's dope. But like it's not anything like, it's nothing I don't like.
Yeah.
So I haven't run into that issue yet.
You know where Converse headquarters is?
No, I don't.
Boston, Mass, baby.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
That's great.
It's pretty dope HQ. Pretty dope HQ. We don't have to get into the specifics. I'm just curious because right now Instagram branding is so popular. Right now I see a lot of people rolling out like somebody that has 500,000 followers on Instagram. I see them post like, oh, this is brought to you by blah blah blah. Not getting to you personally, but what is the pricing of Instagram right now? Like if somebody has,
it's Instagram brand deals are the new gold rush.
Yeah.
Like I have made an absurd amount of money.
I can't even imagine.
From posting photos of me wearing shoes, a t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on?
A photo that you probably would already
I would have already have posted this.
Yeah.
I wear Converse.
Yeah.
All my if you look through my Instagram, I wear Converse.
You've been wearing Converse
photos.
for a long time.
And the fact that like, oh, they're gonna pay me to post a photo wearing Converse, like, yo,
throw a little tag.
2 photos before this, I was already wearing it, and you didn't pay me for it. But it's very different. It depends, like if you have a good manager, if you have someone who knows how to negotiate, because these brands obviously are like jumping on this bandwagon of we need to get into social media, influence marketing. Everyone's
different. They don't. Some people that I'm sure they're coming across, they have no idea. They're like, yeah, we'll give you $500. Oh, sure.
You know? Exactly. I know kids who are making, some of my very close friends who have like over 1 million. This is, I guess, is a good like way to gauge it. Mm-hmm. My friends who have over 1 million followers are making like $100K per post.
$100,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. So break it down even more. Somebody that might have 100,000 could be making 10,000 a post to make it a little, just to make numbers a little.
That's
easier.
That's high end, but yes, it's possible.
Wow.
Someone who has like 100,000 who gets decent engagement.
So that's also a factor too.
Huge factor.
That like comments people that are like, hey, we love your stuff.
Yeah. If you have decent engagement, you're probably making at least 5,000
a post.
Yeah. But like if you're in the millions, right when I hit the million, I'm selling out, folks. I want people to know that.
Post.
Crest whitening strips, Colgate toothbrush.
Season 10 of the Daily Docs is gonna be like
everything is sponsored.
You're gonna be like Elon Musk flying up to like Mars or something like that.
Dude, I'm telling you, these kids, some of my friends who I know have become multi-millionaires off of posting on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
But the thing is, I want people to understand too, it's like you guys put in, and I keep always trying to relate this back, is like you put in the work. It wasn't like you just kind of woke up and became this YouTuber, became this guy with Journeys, and it was that continuous of putting up all these daily vlogs of I don't know where it's going to take me, but I'm just going to keep posting and posting.
Absolutely. If you're not into that, if you don't actually care and you're just doing it to do it, like you're doing it to make money, you don't make money.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
You're going to burn dry. And also I think people will spend too much time trying to recreate what somebody else is doing because they're like, oh, Justin's doing daily docs with all of his friends. Maybe I'll do daily docs 2.0 with my friends, and then we'll just make a lot of money. But they don't realize it's
like
completely different
before
markets.
Any of the money came, I had a big conversation with the cast of my videos, because a lot of the cast of my videos, I like to bring in underrated talent to my vlogs.
Helps out, right?
I want to bring in people who they don't know, undiscovered kids, but have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
So and like obviously like money is a thing. Like you see me making like a decent amount of money, and like they're not really making too much because I don't want it to feel like a job for them to be in my videos or anything like that. But it's it's tough to be like, oh shit, like I want to make money off YouTube too.
Yeah.
But it's not that simple because you have to think about the past.
Yeah.
And in order to get to this money, I was making none.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
I mean, they always say surround yourself with passionate or like-minded people. So if I'm the friend and I'm seeing you be super successful, I'm going to want to be around you, not because I want to rub off you, but there's an energy and clearly you know what you're doing. I want to sit there and learn. And also, people are going to see me associated with you. Maybe I'm going to get a brand deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe Cam will get hit up by some brands, as I'm sure he probably already has.
Yes.
Hey, man, wear this product in the next Daily Doc. We'll toss you $500. Awesome. Nothing changes about me. I'm just going to put on this shirt and make some money. So,
and I always encourage my friends to take those deals that like say I need to be a part of it. I don't care. Like you help, my friends help me, I help you. You help me, I help. It's a
win-win.
It's a buddy situation.
Everybody's got to eat.
Exactly.
Everybody's got to eat. I got 3 people hitting me up for this question, so I have to ask.
Right.
Shout out to Ben, Henry, and Jacob. They want to know, are you the next biggest A&R?
Wow.
They want to know. I mean, we see you at Capitol Records. We see you at Sony. How are these opportunities coming together?
So
I
didn't think I was be talking about this in the podcast.
Come on, bro.
Buddy did his research before we did this.
Come on, bro. I told you. This ain't no episode 20 no more, bro.
Wow.
We had 100 plus, baby.
Yeah, well, shit. I've always been a big advocate to you can't have one source of income.
100%.
And you can't only put all your eggs in one basket, and like you can't all be YouTube, because whether I want to say it or not, like YouTube and Instagram brand deals are very they're very similar.
Yeah.
Like they come from the same source.
Yes.
So I've always been interested in making companies on the side that don't revolve around influence of my own. And when I say influence, I mean like I need to sell something through my followers, nothing like that.
Yeah.
But actually, I am creating an A&R group. And if you guys don't know what A&R means, it's artist and repertoire. It's all about connecting people together. And it's my new business I'm making.
Another little gem drop on the podcast.
Yeah, it's this big company I'm making right now.
How did you get the idea from it? Because I want to say too is that you've been around a lot of young talent a couple years ago that are all super successful now.
Right.
So it's like you are surrounding yourself with the right people.
Right. Well, I'm making this company called Escalona Music Group, and it is an A&R group where we work with other artists and we try to connect them with people, or we'll try to sell songs. We'll try to sell demos to bigger artists. So I work with a lot of songwriters right now who make demos that are intended to be sold, not for their own use. Like say like, oh, we have this song who sounds perfect for Shawn Mendes.
Yeah.
And we'll try to sell it. And we'll take like a cut or like a flat fee or a cut royalties, whatever it be. But the reason why I got into this is because if you watch my videos or just know anything about my life, you'll understand that I've had this ear for good music before they blow up. Yeah. And I was able to, I don't want to like drop like a lot of names, but there was a lot of my friends growing in LA. Yeah. Had turned into superstars.
I mean, I'll say the one that I know of is Khalid, right? I mean, you had that that was a cool tribute video you had done for him. I don't remember how long ago it was.
Like about a year ago.
So he was one of those guys too that you kind of had met out here and just
before they were famous, yeah. And I was like, damn, if I feel like I'm pretty good at this. And over the years of being in LA, I've met a lot of people.
I know you've definitely been around the right people.
So being able to like. I was talking to one of my buddies about this. His name is Cameron Azoff. He's a big like music guy as well. Yeah. And he's like, yo, you need to find a way to position yourself a part of the process. And I was like, I've been saying this. And he's like, yo, you should become an A&R. And I'm like, maybe I should be.
I'm almost seeing, do you see yourself as becoming more of just this big umbrella of creative management? Yes. Of videos, of music, of photographers, of merch? Yes. Like a whole enterprise.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to make to make an empire right now. Yeah. Of like, because the vlogs are good, clothes are good. Yeah. Just tap in the music now. Yeah. And try to make this huge group of people. I'm really good at making brand deals. That's like a thing I almost mastered, but now like open up the new door, and there's so much to learn. That's why I go to New York all the time. Yeah.
It's San Fran, Chicago.
We're traveling all the time. I travel every single weekend, and I'm trying to find the talent. I'm trying to find what will be it. And I have a big roster of kids, the musicians I work with right now.
Yeah.
But I think, like, shit, if I try it hard enough, like, this could be my next 1340. So, I don't know.
Nothing's stopping you.
Yeah, it's a real fun thing, because I have the same feeling when I was making 1340, because 1340, I didn't know anything about clothes.
Yeah.
What's the difference between Next Level? What's the difference between Next Level with Gildan? I don't know. Like, I always knew Gildan was bad, but why is Gildan bad? And now I know, like, what's a 10 colors print versus one color print, and those are just things you learn in the process. And it was always very interesting to learn those, develop those skills, and discovering new things on the ride here. And that's why I think making clothes was so fun to me, because I didn't know shit.
Yeah.
And I had to learn it the whole way. And with music, I know a lot, but I need to know more. So I'm just learning every single day of how to become a good A&R.
And just start something as that business. Bring in a couple people that you can start with. And keep
Exactly.
going, keep going. And then you have it so that when you meet the right person, you're like, hey, I do this business, and when I'm helping out people, here's X, Y, and Z that I've helped. Can I help you?
It's exactly what I'm doing right now. Just how, like, I have this good track record. I connected these people together. They made this song.
Yeah.
I can help you make a good song.
Yeah.
And take a little cut out of that.
What inspires you? Like, all this from the vlogging to now the music you're getting into, to the Full Circle show we got a little taste of, to all these brand deals, to the relationships you've built. Like, what's like the true inspiration inside Justin Escalona? Like, what are you working towards?
Well, whenever I was young, I always thought I need to find a way to hustle, and I never want a real job. I never want to have to go work at Target, bag someone's shit. It was always in high school. Like, of course, I didn't have a job. But that didn't mean I didn't make money. I found a way to finesse my entire life, and that's kind of just how it is. Like, I remember this one day I was in math class in high school, and this one kid was like, "Yo, bro, I'm making bank right now." I'm like, "Doing what?" And he's like, "I work at Target." And I was like, "Shit." I'm like, "How much do you make?" He's like, "Yeah, I make like $300 a month." I'm like, "Damn, bro, I don't even." That sounds nice. Like, maybe I should go like get a job at Target. And then I was like, "But wait, if I get a job at Target, that means I have to work every single day.
Yeah.
I can't pursue what I like. So how about I try to finesse a way to make money off shit I like?" So then I would do like a few photo shoots. But back in the day, photos and videography was not cool. Not everyone had a camera. Instagram wasn't a thing yet. So, like, if you were a photographer back then, people would actually pay you, because, like, it was a limited supply of photographers.
Yeah.
So I would do, like, a few photo shoots, make $500 a month off of my photo shoots. I made more money than this kid who went to work at Target. And now it's just how my mentality on life is, like, if I can find a way to make things easier, let's do it.
Yeah. There's, like, no option B. You're not going to allow yourself to get to the point where
no.
that I have to go do that job.
There's going to be a way. Like, I'm going to find a way to be able to finesse myself a way of life. And it's just, I don't know, like, Catch Me If You Can, if you watch that movie, is such an inspirational movie.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Honestly, man, nothing.
Nothing at all.
Like, it's...
Or, I don't even want to say change as in it's a bad thing. Like, what's something that you're currently working on yourself to get better at? Because I know change sometimes it's like you think it makes you think like, oh, I got to change my hair color because I don't like it. Or I don't know. Right. Just something that it's kind of like a work in progress for yourself.
I just want to know as much as I can about this music stuff because, like, I know a good grasp on it. But obviously when I talk to my friends who are, like, very, like, prominent managers and stuff like that, obviously I don't know as much as I think.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the ego thing, trying to, like, level myself.
I want to be the best.
Yeah,
I want to be the best.
I always want to
learn
be
from the best.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're surrounding yourself with the right people.
Right.
Even just seeing these little meetings in Sony or at Capitol Records, I'm like, damn, this is some real deal shit. This isn't just I'm sitting in my room anymore just trying to research this. You're clearly putting yourself into the right circles with the right people.
Right.
And those are the people that are going to show you the ropes and obviously help you make these things actually come together. What is your definition of success?
My definition of success is not monetary based. It is very, how happy are you? Like, there's been times in my life where I had no money and I thought I was having the best time of my life, and there's been times where I'm making a ton of money and I hate my life. Yeah. So it's like, if I'm just happy, that's good enough.
Yeah. You actually had posted a video going off of that, actually. I forget which, it was in season 4, but it was you were traveling and you were just talking about like, I'm visiting all these cities and
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I was in New York.
What was that all about?
So I made this video when I was in New York. I was traveling so I've been traveling every single weekend for 2 months, but at the beginning of those 2 months, I was traveling every single day. So it wasn't even like now. I kind of slowed it down because I have to go to school.
Yeah.
But when I was on summer break, I was traveling from like Vegas. I was going to New York, Chicago, San Francisco. It was a lot. And I just moved into a new apartment at the time. And I was only there for 5 days before I was shipped off on this like journey. And I was like, damn, like it's cool to see all these different people, like make these new relationships. But in the end, I don't have my core friends around me. This kind of sucks. I'm getting homesick. I need to be around the people I like.
Also, I feel like too, when you're moving around that fast, you're not really getting to fully enjoy the city you're in because you're always thinking about the next flight, the next city I'm going to, planning out the next event, planning out this, or there's always this continuous, my mind isn't actually present. I'm thinking about where I'm going next so that when I get to next, I'm actually thinking about the next thing. And there's never that moment of like, I'm actually chilling.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really messed with me.
Yeah.
I was living in such a luxurious life, doing all this crazy stuff, but I wasn't actually really that present because I was all about, I need to film for my show, I need to film for my vlog.
Yeah.
And how can I make these clothes?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, shit, like, but this is what I signed up for. This is Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I need to embrace it.
Yeah.
But the balance is good. I have a good balance between all of it right now.
Yeah. What do you think Justin's purpose is?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure that out still. I think it's just right now I'm trying to really inspire kids to find a way to do their own type of businesses because business has been a huge factor of my whole life, whether it be making money off of like vlogs or anything like that. It's always been, I've always wanted to find a way to generate revenue, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I used to make businesses every single day when I was in high school.
What was the first one you ever built?
I actually made this clothing company.
Oh, so you had a little experience with the clothes?
Yeah, so I was really inspired by like Vineyard Vines and like Southern Tide. I'm like, how do these people sell their shirts for $40? It's a pocket tee on Comfort Colors. Like, how are they doing this? Like, how are they doing this? So interested in this. So my buddy Nick and I, he was like been my business partner forever, and we were like, let's make our own. And we made this company called Southern Sweetgrass. We grew up in Palatine, Illinois, the heart of the Midwest. And we were like, yeah, let's make this company. And like we branded it the right way. We tried to make it look like Vineyard Vines. And it worked for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like we might be like good at this whole entrepreneur shit.
Yeah.
Because entrepreneurship doesn't really require you to be focused on one field. You can do anything you want if you're passionate about it. I read a lot of books right now about like how people made it. I just read this book about the founders of Airbnb. These people had no idea what the fuck they're doing, and now it's worth $30 billion.
That's not bad. That's a good little paycheck right there.
Like these people at Airbnb made this company because they couldn't afford their rent.
Yeah.
And they had an extra room in their apartment, and they needed to find a way to pay for their rent.
Yeah.
So they offered their apartment as like an extra room, an extra bed and breakfast, and to put air mattresses in it. And now like that simple idea has turned into billions.
Yeah. It's the thing, what doesn't scare me, it kind of excites me, is that we don't really know what we're on to in the moment.
Absolutely,
and it kind of just happens. You know,
that's the whole thrill.
Yeah.
That's what I love. I love not knowing that like we might have it.
Yeah.
And like maybe what we're working on right now will in one day be just massive.
Yeah. And I think also too, once you get just a little success, and it doesn't have to be money and it doesn't have to be views or anything like that, once, I'm sure the YouTube really is what it sounds like was just the beginning for Justin Escalona. It was just, if I apply myself and I stay consistent at uploading, I'm going to build an audience. If I start a t-shirt company and stay consistent and build a lot of hype for it, and people are going to buy it. If I start this music, so it sounds like too, it's people almost you have to just find that one lane that gives you that taste. It's like the little appetizer of success.
Right.
And then you take that and you multiply it and you do it on all these avenues. And before you know it, you have everything that you've ever dreamed for.
Yeah, and then the best part about the whole thing is if you have all these different routes, eventually they're going to cross over.
Yeah.
So like right now, like I work with a lot of musicians, but I have clothes. And the cool way to make clothes cool is have cool musicians wear it. So I have all my buddies who are really successful in music wear my shirt, take a photo with it, and now the next thing you know, you have all these like really popular kids wearing your clothes. Yeah. And that's a real good look.
You're also too, on top of that, with it all being mixed like that, you're also not emotionally connected to one thing. Yeah. Because you have so many things going on that if something flops, it's like, okay, I got to work on this anyway. I don't have time to sit around and pout. Sulk. You just keep moving along.
Sulking is the number one way to just ruin all your entrepreneurship abilities. Yeah. If you can find a way to have no emotion towards your businesses, like of course you need to be a little attached, but you can't let like a failure bring you down. Yeah. So that's kind of what I do. Yeah. I have a failure, fuck it, try again.
Keep going. Like, I'm gonna let that fire. I'm gonna let that just fuel the fire inside
like
me.
If you let that get you down, you're never gonna be successful because you have to fail in order to learn. Like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't charge this much for a shirt. That's why no one bought it. It's just a learning experience.
It's a learning lesson.
And also, like, I'm young, so like, worst case scenario, what is the risk here? Yeah, I'm 21. Yeah. If everything fails, if everything fails, I'm okay. I'll go get my ass a job. Yeah. Like this, it's fine.
It's amazing that you're 21 and you've already had like this sense of direction for at least the last 2 years, I would probably guess. Right. Because at 21, dude, I had no idea of where I was headed.
Dude, I still have no idea. Yeah. Every day is a big old mystery.
Yeah. It's a big just flip the coin, see where it tosses us.
And that's the best way to live. Yeah. Like people who have everything planned out in life, like, because a lot of these kids in business school that I've come to realize are big, like, what's your plan in the next 5 years? I don't know what the fuck my plan is in the next 5 years. Like, what you're telling me, if you're asking me what my next plan in 5 years is, that's me being a freshman in high school and telling me what I'm going to do the year I graduate. College. Yeah. Like, what?
You never would have had an idea you'd be doing.
I have no idea what I'm going to do. Yeah. Like, that, I don't have a plan for that, but I have a plan for, like, what I want to do today, and that's the best way to keep your life entertaining. Because if you're planning for, like, you have these goals, like, I want to have this company have this many users. I want to have 100,000 users within the next year and a half. That year and a half comes and you don't have all those users, you're going to get depressed and sad. Yeah. You can't ever set yourself up for failure like that. Yeah. But you can set yourself up a day-to-day, like, hey, I want to work towards getting 10 more users today. Yeah. You can do that.
Yeah. I think you got to dream big, something that feels almost impossible to reach because it motivates you and it keeps you going. But once again, you can't get emotionally attached and think because you don't reach this goal that you're not something, you know. You have to dream big, because if you're not pushing yourself and if you're just reaching for that thing that's so easy to grab, it's like you're not pushing yourself to the full potential. And that's what I'm obsessed with, is just pushing myself to my full potential. And how can I treat this opportunity as the best opportunity in my life? I'm going to treat you today, Justin Escalona, as the same exact person as I'm going to treat tomorrow's guest. And it doesn't matter about the numbers this person has, the shirts they sell, where they went to college, where they're from. I just look at it as my present moment is this opportunity, is this podcast. I want to make sure that I deliver and make this the best thing possible.
Yeah, like if you look at people as numbers, you are the shittiest person on earth. Yeah. Like, everyone, of course, like there's to an extent, the saying is we're all just people. Mm-hmm. We're all the same, like to an extent. Like we're all people, but like of course, if you make a hit song, you're a little different. Yeah. But like but in the end, you should treat everyone with the same respect. Yeah. Maybe not treat everyone the same, because obviously there's different circumstances, but at least have that same underlying friendliness, like just be open to anything. Yeah. And I feel like that's like a huge tip that I've learned of living my life and to find success is you can't judge people for who they are. You just judge them if you actually like them or not. Yeah. Like, of course, you're not going to treat everyone the same. Like, if you actually don't fuck with them. Like, you say he's a dick. Like, I'm not going to act like I love you. Yeah. But at least give yourself the chance to like them.
Yeah. It's about the intent of what they're trying to do, I guess. That's the most important part. Yeah. Before I get into the closing questions, this is when I reverse the role. I allow my guests to ask me any one question. Yeah. Only one rule. It can't be a question that I asked you today. Okay. It could be any one question, something we talked about, something you want to know about me. One question.
I guess it's very interesting to me how from the day that we, I guess, met.
That was definitely the day we met.
How you've turned it into this. Like, how did the podcast go from that to this? Like, what was like I guess make it more simple. It's very broad.
Yeah.
What's one tip you would have for like upcoming podcasters?
You literally just have to. You just have to decide on what you want and what you want that project. If it's podcasts, I'm going to speak on podcasts, but ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening or watching, it's the same thing. Translate it into any career path you're trying to go. You just have to decide and tell yourself, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to create. And you just put your head down and you do it every single day. Yeah. I've stayed consistent for almost, I think out of 104 weeks, 105 weeks since launch, I think there's been 100 episodes. There was, there was a 1 week that I had missed in the very beginning. There was a 2-week pause when I moved out to LA. I was on a road trip, wanted to enjoy myself. There was a 1-week break when I went back home for a wedding this past summer. And then there was also a week I actually missed a couple weeks ago. Other than that, I've stayed consistent right through. And it all goes back to that. When I first had the idea, when I was graduating college and I decided that I wanted to start this podcast, I wanted to see where it would go. I had the idea. I knew that I wanted to bring in all these passionate people, but I didn't really fully know that I was going to get certain guests on the show. But I knew where it could take me. And what happened is that I just got these little successes along the way. Within the first 10 episodes, those were all within reaching distance. People that I knew were a friend of a friend that could connect me. And then it kind of kept going. Really, Huey Mack, he was episode 18. I had met him on tour, so by the time we sat down to do the podcast, it was a friendly conversation. This was before I did the podcast with you.
Yeah.
But when I had released that one, it was like I had kids that I graduated college with, like, dude, how did you get a podcast with Huey Mack? And then I did a podcast with you. I did a podcast with Gibson Hazard. Kept going. Then there was like Tim LaRue. He's an artist manager. Then there was Gordy Land. Then there was all these other people. Foley, Nolan Smith, manager of Kyle. It was like every couple episodes, I was enjoying all the podcasts that I was doing because I was learning and I was building something. I was building on the project. But it was like every 5 or 6 episodes that was like, okay, you got to keep going. It was just like another adrenaline rush and another little kick in my ass. And so that's all it's been the entire way. It has been a long and lonely process because I graduated, had college loans, had all this shit I had to start dealing with, apartment rent and all that. Right. And then I had this idea to create, never did this ever in my life, never was making videos, never was thinking of starting a podcast. So I pretty much punted social life for 2 years. I've been busting my ass, working full-time as an Uber driver, best in Boston, now best in LA. I've been putting my head down, making as much podcasts as I can make, solo pods, just trying to create a network and just at the end of the day, put the weight on my shoulders and know that nobody's going to give a shit if Bobbbaaaay, Purpose in You doesn't deliver. Nobody cares. It's on me to do it. I've decided I want this to become something bigger.
Right.
And I'm going to do it. And I'm not emotionally attached to like, this is where I'm going to be for the rest of my life. This has just brought me into this whole entertainment world, realizing I could do anything that I want. I want to try. Right. I love to be in. Here we go. Great thing. I tell myself, move to LA. Got to take any opportunity I get. You hit up me and Dylan about need an extra person on set. We're shooting this thing downtown. Who do I meet? Kirk. He was at the set. Right. Then I now have somebody to do BTS. So it's like you got to jump on these opportunities. You decide what you want. You keep going. And I've just evolved, man. I've enjoyed this conversation so much because, man, when I think back to that kid, and I still remember the day, and I still remember how hyped I was that I had even made it into your daily docs at the time, and I had friends hitting me up like, "Yo, you're in Justin's daily docs." I'm like, "Yo, I'm out here, yo, I made it." I'm only 20 episodes in, but it's beautiful to now be in LA, to actually have a studio / bedroom. I've come a long way in my own personal journey.
Right.
But I am still so young, and I have so much fire inside me that I am fired up for what has yet to come. And I just passed the 2-year marker for the podcast on August 31st. Mm-hmm. And I really truly believe that year 3 is going to be the year that this shifts into something much bigger. And hopefully we can get some budgets to bring in more content and just take this to the next level. Because I think I've proven to myself for the past 2 years that if I put my mind to something, I can create what I want.
Right.
And now it's just about taking it to the next level.
Absolutely.
And so we shall see what happens.
Well, good luck, man.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Let's get into the closing questions.
Okay.
Where can people find you on social media if they don't already follow you?
You can find me on Instagram at Justin Escalona. Justin, Justin Escalona. Type that into YouTube, Twitter, all of the things. Same thing.
Before I ask the final question, and I'm not going to get into because I just went on the ramble. Thank you for coming in today.
Well, thank you, man.
Appreciate it. This has been a game changer from the 20 to the 100 plus. It's a much different person. I hope you feel much different than that first podcast in Huey Mac and Noah's crib, Ryan.
I need to go re-listen to that podcast.
Oh,
man.
bro, I was kind of shaky. I was like, man, what the fuck was I doing? I mean, it honestly isn't bad. Like the whole thing was, it was like a 20-minute conversation of pretty much you got to USC. It was all daily docs and where you want to go, and so it might be refreshing to hear some of.
I'm actually very interested to hear what I was interested in back then.
Yeah, you should re-listen to it.
Cool.
It'll kind of maybe it'll fire you up to see how much you've grown as a person. Because I was fired up to hear myself. Like, damn, I had a starting point, but now this is where I'm at. Maybe it'll be kind of refreshing for you.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
That was both of us were much different people. Last question for you to wrap up this amazing, amazing podcast. What's the best 2 to 3 pieces of advice you'd give to somebody that's listening, hasn't found a passion, hasn't found a purpose, is in the pursuit of trying to figure that out? What do you say they do?
Okay, so I get this question actually a lot. Like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I just want to be successful. And
Don't we all?
Right? My biggest advice for that is just try as much as you can. Like, your life is a melting pot, especially if you're young. You have no obligations. You have no rent to pay. You live with your parents. You might have to pay your phone bill, and just try it. Like, what's the risk? I always hear this thing in business, like, oh, it's a lot of risk doing this. It's like, what the fuck is the risk? Like, you had a failure. You say you went, even if you go bankrupt but you LLC'd the company. The company went bankrupt. You didn't go bankrupt. You didn't lose anything. It's a learning experience. Try as much as you can. And finally, eventually, it's a big ass dartboard. Imagine the dartboard with like a ton of ideas. Like, instead of like the red and black, it's just a bunch of ideas of like what you need to do. Just try all of it, and one of them will hit. That's how I see it.
Just keep throwing them and throwing them.
Yeah, like shit. Like maybe like this one like random idea didn't work out, but that's fine. Try again. Yeah. And like if you're young, you really have nothing to stress about because you're young. Yeah. Like, failure, I can only see failure being like, say you make a big ass company, you raise millions of dollars of funding, and then you let them down. That's failure to me. But when you're young and you have nothing to risk, you can't say you're risking anything. Yeah.
You have nothing to lose. Just go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, say like you set up a podcast. Yeah. How much did you really lose? You spent like $500 on all the equipment. Yeah. If that's the biggest setback for you, I'm sorry, business isn't for you.
There's a lot of lessons that I would have learned too. That's the other thing. It's like you learn a lot through that process of failing too, which I think a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah, if you get caught up in the monetary aspect of, I lost $500, maybe you shouldn't be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Maybe you should try something else.
Maybe you should go get yourself a corporate job, because like with entrepreneurship, you will quickly figure out that it is tough. Yeah. And money does not come as quickly as you want it to be, and there's going to be some months that you might actually lose money. Yeah. So like, you have to be open to the roller coaster. Like, business is a roller coaster unless you work at a job that you sit at a desk from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Yeah. And that for myself sounds miserable, but I know people who buy into that culture. But I think a lot of people who are listening to this podcast don't want to do that. No. They want to find their own way, and the best way to do that is just shoot your shots at everything.
I love that. We'll leave it right at that. Justin Escalona.
Thank you, man, for having
coming
me.
in. Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Catch you guys next time.
Peace.